Okie dokie. Hello? Test. Volumes. Squeaky chair. Kombucha. Oh, whoop. We got an echo. Let's go ahead and get rid of that echo. Okay. From what I could hear in the echo, the volume sounds acceptable. Is my squeaky chair coming through? Because otherwise we're gonna have to start over. Oh, I need to move the chat up so you guys can see it. Do you guys like the chat there? I might change, before we get started, let me change the text on the chat real quick. From orange to black. It's probably better, right? Oh, fuck it, we'll do it later. I should have done that before the stream. I was just too gosh darn excited. I jumped the gun. Sorry about that, guys. Well, it'll have to do for now. It's coming through okay. Anyway, okay, let's get started. So, lots of stuff happened, in case you've been living under a rock. Let's go ahead and start. Let's start super zoomed out, and then we'll work our way in. Shall we? All right, so let's look at first of all, let's look at the 1 week. Because some interesting stuff is occurring on the 1 week that is notable. Let's get rid of the volume flow on this thing. So we don't really need that on the weekly, do we? Let's get rid of you. Oop. Get rid of the left axis. It's gross. Okay, let's get rid of this. So one of the first things we see on the weekly candle is, unless we see a significant retracement, there is a bullish engulfing candle on the daily, followed by a tweezer bottom of sorts. And that typically is a reversal signal, or reversal setup, rather. And a reversal setup followed by a bullish engulfing candle is a great, it bodes well. I mean, granted, we're still halfway through the week, so all hell could break loose and we could close below this, but given our current levels, I don't think that's very likely. Okay, so that's the weekly, and we can look at the cloud if you'd like. I don't know that there's a whole lot to talk about. I mean, it is coming up and testing. Oh, actually, I take that back. Okay, apparently I did not do my homework. So on the weekly, we see a really nice test of the 50 EMA, which I did not notice until just now. Okay, not only that, but we are currently above the Tenkan on the cloud. So that's good. Currently wicked above the 50 EMA. It's likely to be a formidable foe, but if we get enough momentum and enough liquidations, we could pop right through this. What I'd like to see for the bulls is I'd like to see a close above the 50 EMA. That would be a really great sign. But at the moment, it's currently being resistant, so just have to keep an eye on it for now. You know, like I said, we did wick above it, so you know, if we close just a little bit higher by the week's end, that would be great. Closing the week out above the 50 EMA would be perfect. I don't think there's anything to talk about on the Bollinger Bands. I mean, they are squeezing, yes. Okay, so that's good. But in terms of like breakout or trend or testing key levels, nothing too notable here. As we zoom in though, things start to get interesting. So on the 3-day, first of all, we see a notable rise in volume. And this 3-day just closed. Okay, so what does that mean? That means in the past day and a half, when all that strong movement was occurring, it only lasts about half the candle. But even though it's on modest volume here, you know, it just barely broke above the moving average. The spread on it is really great. It was a bullish engulfing candle that engulfed 2 previous bearish candles. And it's above the midline on the 3-day. The B bands are still squeezing. So there's still some consolidation going on, but you know, obviously if we push higher highs, then we'll see some expansion of the B bands. On the daily is where I think the most interesting stuff is starting to take place. So if you follow John Bollinger, right as everyone's like freaking out, you know, they're saying, you know, mortgage your house, buy Bitcoin, sell your firstborn and whatever. They're like, oh man, Bitcoin's back. It's going to the moon. This is a moon, a red moon. John Bollinger says, well, hold up. This is a potential head fake. Oops. Potential head fake setup. So what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck is a head fake? So a head fake is a reversal. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a fake out. It is a fake breakout. It is a breakout that it breaks above and goes below. But what does it break above? So typically it happens after consolidation patterns, consolidation of the B bands. If you're not familiar with the Bollinger Bands, it's very simplistically, it is a way to visualize market consolidation and forecasted volatility. Okay, so the tighter the B bands are relative to its previous move, the more consolidated it is and more likely it is to have a strong breakout. Okay, so a head fake is when the B bands consolidate, right? Boom. Let's say it just had a move like this, right? So we see consolidation on the B bands. So they're squeezing together, and then we see a very strong move outside of the B bands. Okay. So boom, see a strong move outside of the B bands, and the head fake occurs when you see a strong reversal back. So it traps a bunch of bulls, and ultimately it is a bearish move. It is, I think it bears emphasizing that this is just a setup, right? It is, he said it is a quote unquote perfect setup, but it is just a setup. So let's delve more into this idea and find out, you know, what the likelihood of this. So if we slap some more shit on my chart and get rid of the B bands, let's look at the volume flow. No, again, we don't need volume flow. I don't know why I put that on there. But let's get rid of the B bands. Let's talk about some of the notable characteristics. Jesus Christ, what a long day. Notable traits. Let's talk about some notable traits. Okay, so first of all, we've been range bound, unless you've been living under a rock you're just now new to following me. I've been talking about this trading range, and it's outlined in blue here. So we got an upper and lower boundary. Okay. Okay, so check. So we're in a trading range. Okay. So what the heck is a trading range? If you're new to trading ranges, all a trading range is a horizontal, typically horizontal. You know, there are more nuanced trading ranges that have ascending channels and things like that, but in our case, we have a well-defined upper and lower limit, and the market is bound within this for the most part. Okay, so trading range 1. Okay, 2. What else do we see? We see this dashed line right here. This we'll call this the DT, the downtrend. It has been broken. So downtrend has been broken. And what else? Okay, so if we're looking at the daily volume, this is where a lot of the information is contained here for a trading range. So we see consolidation of the volume. That's good. This is really good for the trading range. If you're looking for a bullish setup, volume consolidation is great. Okay, volume consolidation tells us that there's a high likelihood that supply, it's called overhanging supply or free floating supply, whatever you want to call it, is being absorbed. It is being absorbed by strong market players that are looking to shake out the market so that they can have, you know, more control over the market. Oops. Okay. Part of this anatomy right here, this is where it gets really interesting because it, you know, breaks out of the trading range, but it does it on very low volume. Okay. So where's the volume? This sort of setup is not only called an inverted head and shoulders, as some of you guys know, an inverted head and shoulders or a head and shoulders bottom. Because of its specific placement in the trading range, this is called a spring. Spring. Okay. All the spring is a breach of the lower bound of the trading range that returns to the trading range. Okay. There are several different types of springs. In our case, we have a low volume spring. Okay, so follow this dashed line right here. This is the V bottom from February. This was the lowest low we'd made up until mid-June, sometime in here, right? And we poked a new low after months and months and months of trading. But we did so on zero volume. So what does that mean? That is again a further indication of supply absorption. And all supply absorption is a fancy way of saying all the sellers, or the majority of sellers, have sold, and it is now a buyer's market. So, all throughout here, the shakeout of sellers has just been decreasing. And now that it broke a new low, if we are going to see a continuation of the downtrend, we would like to see an increase in volume, but that's not what we see. So this sets us up for a really nice inverted head and shoulders spring trend reversal. At the very least, an interim trend reversal, obviously, right? Like, we're making a new high here. But we can get more detailed in this and explore this idea a little further. So part of the anatomy of a spring is it often has retests. Okay, so this little guy, this right here is called the spring. This, right, this is the spring. And this is the retest. So this is the retest. All right. And what we'd like to see, and what we saw, is on the retest, we see less volume than the initial low. Okay, so that's what we see. So we see high volume, volume, and then no volume on the retest, right? This guy, no volume. And then, of course, we see this immediate explosion of buyer interest here. If you're a Wyckofian or trading ranges, then you're familiar with what comes after a spring, and that is ideally a jump across the creek. So here we see this creek, and then we see a notable increase in volume. As someone noted in my Discord, it's not the best jump across the creek. Like, this was a better jump across the creek here. We see a nice, really high pop in volume. But overall, it's not bad. It's double this candle alone is double the moving average. The previous daily candle was well over the moving average. Yeah, so it's looking really, really strong. Keep in mind that, as I stated earlier, there's like the 50 EMA here, which is causing a bit of resistance here, but I think ultimately before the week is over, we see a test of the 61%. Whether it pulls down afterward or continues upward remains to be seen, but I think this is next on our trajectory, is this test. So what is this 61%? This is just the macro fib set. If you look at the entire parabolic run up, this is just the Fibonacci retracement of it. So, and it's also been a key pivot level throughout the market. We see multiple times we've pivoted on that, so it makes perfect sense that we're going to test that next. Okay, so before we go any further, do you guys have any questions about anything I said, or any points you guys want to interject or anything like that? Did you tweet out this video? Yeah, I did. So sell the house, buy Bitcoin now, for sure. Okay. So what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Okay. Just because we broke a downtrend and we have a really great setup, that doesn't mean that the heartache is over for the bulls. Okay. A really common trait, I'm going to avoid the word characteristic because apparently I can't say it sometimes. I think it's whenever I throw the S on the end that it fucks me up. Characteristics. one notable trait is when you jump across the creek, there is typically a nice retracement. So usually when you jump across the creek, you know, you see. Okay, before we talk about that, let's talk about some of the identifying features of a JAC or a jump across the creek. So one, high volume. Okay, two, we see wide candle spread. Wide spread. And these are like the core descriptors. But ideally, you'd like to see it coming out of a spring. So if we can see it coming out of a spring, let's see, JAC from spring. This is a great feature. What else? Jumping a creek. Is there a creek? So these are great. Alternatively, sometimes a jump across the creek is called a sign of strength. It just depends on who you talk to. There's different nomenclature for all this shit, and it just gets kind of wordy from time to time. But all it's saying is, hey, market's moving. It was very strong. Not a lot of sellers. Majority of them got liquidated in here. This was a liquidation fueled rally, most likely, because it happened so fast and so sudden. And now the bears are like, shit, what do we do now? You know, they were planning on riding this down to 4K, and now it's not doing that. So now they're strategizing, there's strategery involved in this, as George Bush would say. And yeah, so the immediate price target, as I said, is the 61%, which also kind of coincides with the price target of this inverted head and shoulders, which let's measure that out real quick. It's pretty straightforward measure. It's 1081, 1080, yeah, about this. So it's most likely gonna test this the 61 here. So what does that mean for the rest of the market? If you missed this opportunity, personally, okay, so I've been long on Bitcoin for a little bit. I unhedged my longs, you know, somewhere down here. But I'm also not looking to leverage long Bitcoin. Oh shit, Litecoin just fucking booked it. Jesus. So nice transition. So the transition that I'm about to make is, if you miss the opportunity to buy this breakout, you might want to wait, honestly. The risk to reward isn't really worth it to ride it for the next couple $100, because one of the other traits of a jump across the creek is it usually has what's called as a BUEC, back up to the edge of the creek, which basically is just like, it's a retest of the support. So it pops up and then it comes back down. So you know, we might see a retracement to, you know, pop up to here and come here, pop up to here and retest this, or it might just even retest here. But right now the risk to reward for going leverage long isn't the best. So there are other opportunities with the alts. Let's talk about those. You can see here, Litecoin gives no fucks. It is having a green bean salad, and I'll tell you what's going on with that. So Litecoin is at the tail end of a creaky thing, but most notably, it broke out of its downtrend. So we see here it broke out of its downtrend. Bitcoin retested, and I took a nice healthy long on BitMEX right here. There are some other coins, and by other I mean like a lot of coins, that have really great setups. I'm not going to go through all of them because it would take all day, but some of the most immediate ones are obviously Litecoin, like as I just stated. Cardano is a great setup. We see here it's double bottoming here, and Adam and Eve double bottom, and it's reaching its neckline here. So this thing is ready to pop at any moment. You see volume expanding. It's ready to go. I'm currently not long on this yet, but I might get long on it because it's looking pretty fucking good right now. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. Ether's not looking the best. Not looking the best, but you know, it is sitting on support, so it does have, you know, has that going for it, which is nice. But yes, I mean, it's not looking the best, and it had a really stiff retracement. I mean, it retraced 5%. That's not very good. But yeah, there are a lot of coins doing this right now. A lot of shit coins are doing this. They're bottoming out. So you know, for all you altcoin players, you know, this is a fucking gift, right? So take advantage of it. What do you think of the downtrend line from the previous two tops? On what coin? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Do you always look on log? Yeah. I don't really know why you wouldn't look on log. Peter Brandt says he doesn't look on log, which I don't know why you wouldn't. Why would you not look on log? It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's fine. You know, to each their own. Whatever. So someone on Twitch is asking, oh, they're asking Ether USD, do I only trade USD, or do you not trade USD pairs? So the only USD pair that I really trade or really give a shit about is Bitcoin USD, and I track all my other coins relative to Bitcoin. I'm recently delving into one broker, which keeps its collateral in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like the standard. It is, you know, it's what you are going to compare everything to. So I don't really care what Ether USD price is doing. I care what Bitcoin price is doing, and if Ether is outperforming Bitcoin, then I'll shift my capital to Ether. But otherwise, it kind of just has a home in Bitcoin. Would you buy ADA now or wait for a pullback? I honestly might buy now. I've been feeling a lot of these alts are about to just fucking explode. And, you know, it's right at the neckline. So I would probably wait for a little bit of a breakout. Maybe a retest. I don't know. To be honest with you, I gotta shift my mental space back to how crypto moves, because I've been trading like equities and Forex for the past month now. So I gotta get my brain back in gear. I'll probably, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you, I'll probably just go long on ADA. I think it'd be fine. I don't expect to see another harsh pullback on these altcoins. Like what happened today was a gift. For short-term scalping, do you think a strategy based on the crossing of EMA 12 and EMA 24? So I don't scalp based on EMAs. I scalp based on momentum personally. So I mean, I'm sure there is a great strategy there, and I don't want to like dissuade you from pursuing something like that, but I'm just not the right person to ask about that. Do you guys have any other questions? Man, I'm really happy about this Litecoin. I got like almost the very fucking tippy bottom of that thing. You're only looking on MEX for now? No. I'm looking at some other coins. I need to go back and dig through some of my, like this weekend, probably tonight, honestly. I'm going to go dig through some of my charts, and, you know, I'm eyeballing Sia Coin, Tron, what else am I looking at? Bitcoin Cat. You know, I am looking at the MEX pairs, but I have a few. Zcash is looking really good. Zcash looks really fucking good. So I'm gonna move some capital over to like Bittrex and scoop up some coins. But I'm really starting to lean away from using leverage trading and working on accumulating Bitcoin via one broker, trading stocks and stuff, and then using my, shaving off some profits from that account and throwing them into trending coins relative to Bitcoin. So damn, Litecoin is getting me a little aroused right now. Look at that thing go. Charlie's probably just like sitting there just jerking off to his reflection right now. He's probably so happy. Appreciate the stream. Seem to caught the end of it. Hope to see them more frequently. Yeah, so I wasn't purposely just not doing the streams. It was just, it wasn't getting fun to talk about the same shit over and over again and just be like, hey, Bitcoin's kind of doing something, but like no one really fucking knows and everyone claims like they know. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just take a break and trade some stocks and whatever. But if Bitcoin's doing something, then I'll talk about it. But if it's not doing something, then I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to waste your time or my time or anything like that. I do want to talk about some stocks, but I want to get the crypto out of the way first. So if you guys have any more questions, let's talk about that. Also in the meantime, we got a discount code because it's the 1 year anniversary of the stream. So congrats everyone. It was 1 year ago that we were just a lowly stream on Twitch with 30 fucking viewers. So my, how far we've come. But yeah, if you've ever been interested in joining my trading group, use the coupon code HAPPY1YEAR and you can get 50% off. So if you've ever been interested in doing that, go check it out. It's a coupon code scrolling across the top left corner of the screen. And there you go. What's a Discord? It's it's like an AOL chat room from the 90s. Everyone just sits there and hangs out. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to see it, I'll show you how it's laid out. It's pretty fun. So here's how we have the Discord laid out. It's constantly changing. So I'll reduce this stuff. So here are like the community announcements. Let's go ahead and can I not open that? Okay. So here are the community announcements. We got some market resources for different trade strategies. Of course, we're in my group. We really emphasize a lot of Wyckoff strategy, which is like trading ranges and stuff like that. So we've got some pretty good resources in there. But what's heavily used are the coin channels. So all the major coins that everyone's trading, we got them laid out here in the high market cap, and then the lower cap, we have those as well. And the latest edition is the traditional market stuff. So we've got Forex labeled in here, indices, metals, and stocks, which has been the latest venture for the group. But yeah, there's little bits and flavors for everyone. And the trading room is right here. So whenever there's a trending market, we all hop in the trading room and live trade together and get some pretty good entries. The more eyes in the market, the better. That's basically the thesis. So. What other discords am I in? Mind your own business, brah. All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to jump right into stocks. Stocks and Forex. Thoughts on Ripple given the fact that Coinbase said it won't add it? Zero thoughts on that. Sorry. I have zero thoughts on that. Okay, so let's talk about not to bring up a bad memory, but can we revisit your Tesla debacle? Yeah, sure. I'm an open book, bro. Let's let me open up that window. So for those of you who don't know, I traded Tesla and I ate a heaping plate of shit. But I'm working my way out of that hole. So, so basically what happened was it was a combination of good news and I forget what group it was, but basically the minute market opened and it opened on really good news, you can see it gapped up really high. Okay. So right here, we see a very high gap up, which is great. Because I was like hella long somewhere in here. And the minute it gapped up, some group was like, we're all shorting it, so everyone should short it. And so the market immediately tumbled. And it tumbled and it tumbled and it tumbled, and then it moved 18% in a matter of like a day and a half. So I got liquidated on that shit because I didn't get a chance to get out. If you look at this, there's literally zero bounce on it. And what I should have done was I didn't realize the news until after what had happened, but I got liquidated somewhere in here. And what didn't get liquidated, I got out on this bounce. So yeah, it was a really bad situation. And I drew the short straw that day, and sometimes it just fucking happens, And it also came on the tail end of Musk personally outright saying, I'm going to liquidate the fucking shorters. So, yeah, it was basically just a pissing match. But the way I'm actually looking to go long on Tesla because it's set up with a really nice double bottom here. So we see Adam, we see Eve, and it's heading up toward the neckline here. So I'm looking for a long entry on Tesla. I'm still bullish on Tesla, actually, despite how much it just absolutely raped me. I am actually still bullish on Tesla. It has a lot of the characteristics of an accumulation trading range, and this just looks like a shakeout. So I am still looking to go long on Tesla, even though I just got absolutely manhandled. And essentially the same thing happened to me on Twitter. So it was market open on Monday. I got brutally massacred on Tesla, and the same thing happened on Twitter, which I still don't understand the Twitter thing, but hope that answered your question, MR. And we can actually talk about some of the stocks I'm eyeballing. So as I said, I'm eyeballing Tesla, and I'm actually shorting Intel right now. Intel, I forget what the news was exactly, but it had decently bad news, and it's currently sitting at a head and shoulders. So if we look at, you know, it's gappy, so you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But I guess I gotta update this. It shouldn't be today. I shorted right where that little arrow is, at the tip of that thing, because it was playing my favorite setup, which is gap up, doji, gap down, red, gap up, doji. So I shorted that, and sure enough, it gapped down. So not only is it playing a head and shoulders on this low time frame, so shoulder, head, shoulder. On the daily, it's playing a much larger head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. So yeah, currently shorting Intel. What else am I looking at? I'm currently looking, I'm long on Nvidia. Nvidia looks great. It had a really strong day today, but on the daily, it looks like accumulation. So we see here the labelings of, okay, so this is a great example of an upward slanting accumulation trading range. So if you look at, or if you were listening earlier in the stream, I talked about how, you know, upward slanting accumulation trading ranges are possible. Well, here's one right now. So, and sure enough, the daily closed a big, fat, fucking bullish engulfing candle. And I'm long on this, and I'm going to be long on this for a while. So we see this spring sort of dealio here. It pops up, popped a sign of strength. And this, again, if you were listening earlier to the stream when I was talking about how JACs sometimes have a BUEC, back up to the edge of the creek, this is what a back up to the edge of the creek looks like. So sign of strength, retracement here, and you see heavy supply absorption. And that's apparent by the overlapping bars here. This is what supply absorption looks like on a daily time frame. And it broke out. So I'm very bullish on Nvidia, and I'm gonna hang on to that bro for a good length of time. What else? Oh, Bank of America. Bank of America was a good one too. So Bank of America just broke out of a gigantic fucking falling wedge. Let's look at that. So if you look at Bank of America, it broke out of this huge falling wedge. And what is most likely going to happen, because this is pretty typical of falling wedges, oops, I don't want that, is, so I'm currently not long on it, but what I am going to do, because this is really great, you know, pro tip here, is when you have falling wedges, they like to do inverted head and shoulders on the retest. So you see shoulder, head, and on the retest, boom, it'll make the right shoulder. So if you're not long on Bank of America, hang in there. I wouldn't FOMO in just yet, especially with this little doji bro here. But I'm gonna be looking at this trend line here for a nice entry, and I'll be hanging on to Bank of America because this is a 1-day rising falling wedge. So really great setup. Someone saying Bitcoin's making another move. Oh, nice. Oh, so is Litecoin. So is ADA. Not Ether, though, you little bump on a fucking log. Hooray for Litecoin, though. Charlie is just loving it, smelling his own farts and just loving it. What else am I bullish on? Coca-Cola. We see a very clear macro inverted head and shoulders. Oh, do I need to draw this out for you guys? I'm not drawing it out. It broke out of the slanted neckline and now it broke out of the horizontal neckline. And it is currently making a little, I don't know, is that a bull flag? A little bull flag thingy. So I'll be looking to get hella long on a potential retest of this neckline. Otherwise, I'll just wait for a better entry. But bullish on Coca-Cola. I'm bullish on obesity and diabetes. So, what else? Oh, AMD. For show. AMD is looking bullish as well. So on the daily, we see a very large trading range. Again, another sign of strength into a BUEC with supply absorption, and now it's moving up for markup. Not in a position yet, but I will be looking to get long whenever the opportunity presents itself. I don't know, there's a lot of these. I guess we should look at the indices and then we'll just wrap this up. So let's look at, where's my list? Yeah. So let's look at S&P, and then we'll move over to Dow Jones, and we'll call it a night. So on the daily, we got S&P just trending nicely, you know, higher highs, higher lows, you know, nothing crazy. It did break out of this inverted head and shoulders, which is great. And it's establishing new highs. So, you know, maybe we'll see a retest of this high before it moves up. Maybe not. A lot of times these stocks just like to just fucking run. So who knows? And of course, you know, Dow Jones is doing something similar. It broke out of this inverted head and shoulders, symmetrical triangle thing. Something to watch out for that I've... So here's a pattern that I've been trading. Me and one of my buddies from a Discord, we've been trading this pattern a lot, and I've noticed it to be really prevalent in stocks at Forex. So we call it the meme head and shoulders. Okay, it is a head and shoulders fake out, and it goes something like this. This is the pattern. So it goes up, comes down, right? So here's your left shoulder. Here's your head. Here's your right shoulder. And typically what happens is in between the head and the right shoulder, we see a very exaggerated neckline that dips below the horizontal of the left shoulder. And this is a form of supply absorption. But what it does, and what I suspect it's going to do, is on the right shoulder, it makes a higher high than the left shoulder. So, you know, it stops out these guys, but it also lures in more shorters here. And it's going to start to retrace. And typically what I've seen is it retraces 50%. And then it just goes boom, and it takes off. So all of these trades that, if you follow me on one broker, and you know, you saw that I was just eating plates of shit for a couple of days, and all of a sudden I started turning around, you know, triple digit plays, just turning them out. It's because I've been playing this on Japanese yen, and this just keeps happening over and over and over on all time scales. So really great setup. Keep an eye out for these sort of setups so you don't get trapped as a bear, but also because it allows a really nice entry for bullish continuation. Ugh. My jaw is literally tired from talking. So anyway, that's all I got for stocks. That's all I got for crypto. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to be a bro right now, so that's pretty cool. 88 just broke a high, so I'll be looking to get long on this bitch. And yeah, Bitcoin. Oh, nice. Bitcoin's back up into 7,400s. Okay, so we'll see what that does. Is it the same as a compound fulcrum Peter calls continuation head and shoulders? I believe the compound fulcrum that Peter, I might be remembering this wrong, but how he has it is it's like this. So it goes head, shoulder, and a higher shoulder like this, and it ends up making something like this, and he goes like that. I could be wrong, but I think that's his thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this bitch up. What day is today? Today's Tuesday? So I probably won't do another stream this week, but yeah, I'll be around. Again, if you're interested in joining my trading group, go to bitcoin.com and use the coupon code HAPPY1YEAR for 50% off. Other than that, I need to go because my trashy redneck neighbor is doing trashy redneck shit right outside my window. So let's go ahead and call it a night, and don't stare at the charts too long, guys. You know, don't get greedy. The market will reward you. Just be patient. Don't FOMO in. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great night. Bye.